Hey,
Indeed.
we
Woo!
we are live and
The, f-
other things.
the first episode in the year of 2026. May it last forever.
Or at least like until it's done. Like if the calendar stops, that's usually like a bad sign for like
Yeah.
civilizations. That means something happened.
It was the best year because it was the last year.
Yeah. But whatever you were sick of, you don't got to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, that's right. It's over.
Like you're done. That person who keeps taking your parking spot at work, they got wiped out by the comet too. Fuck them.
Yeah, it's all done. So we're with episode 29.
Yeah.
29 episodes, pretty good.
That is pretty crazy, actually. I know we like started doing this like with really no plan and no expectation, but you know, that's how. Now imagine if we had been like prepared and planned and professional, it would have been amazing. So, I actually have a completely different like tactical situation. So usually I'm freezing my ass off up in my office at night, but I remembered we had like a little heater thing, so I have it cranked up and point in my direction. Now I'm realizing it's actually like way too hot to sit here with a blanket on. So I'm gonna try to like not sweat like a hooker in church while we're talking tonight. But
you're gonna glisten, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little sticky and a little personal.
Enjoying a bit of brew today?
Yeah, I had exactly one can of Modelo left, so that's what we're having. Yeah, it's okay, like Mexican beer.
Yeah, Negro Modelo is really nice. I like that.
This is just some random,
just regular old Modelo.
Yeah. It says it's special on there, so.
Oh, it's special.
Yeah. Special to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was sitting and thinking, before we start, so we're actually gonna have, I think for the first time in a while at least, we're gonna have a next time on the bad internet trends.
Next time.
Because we actually have two games to talk about. So tonight we are going to be talking about Endless Hammer, which is basically if you have all the hammers in the world and then you get one more.
Yes.
That is what happens. So we're going to be talking about that.
But you thought you were done, but then there was another hammer. So
exactly. And then next time we will talk about Venusian Hammer, which means by then people will have figured out some of the bugs and errors and been able to fix them. So we should be in pretty good shape. Also, we are on a like very tight timer. I'm watching my battery tick down here.
What happened?
I forgot that my iPad hadn't actually been charging when I thought it was. So,
no.
Worst case, we may have to like pause for a minute, and I can swap to the phone, and should have another hour and a half or so.
Okay. Or we'll just speed run
it. We'll just power the fuck through it.
Yeah. Before we dive deep into Endless Hammer, I'll just go ahead and say that right now it is available on the Nordic Weasel Games Discord, the Hobby Homies Discord, the Bedroom Battlefields Discord, the Dicey Guy Miniatures Painting Discord, and there's another Discord, the Rust Punks Discord.
Hey.
Right now it's only available in Discords, and I put it in the Squad Hammer group on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Eventually I'll put it on my Substack, and I'll link my Substack, and I'm going to put everything on the Substack. But the Substack isn't quite set up yet. So
for right now, you have to be in the know.
Yeah, exactly. So
this is the alpha, in like 5 different places.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be in a specific know. You just have to be kind of generally in the know. But yeah, so you can check it out and provide some feedback. So I was so you've been talking about it pretty regularly, but I don't think I had seen any like actual snippets except for like maybe one you showed me, and that was like way earlier. So. I wasn't sure when you said you were sending it how much stuff there was going to be, but it turned out there was actually quite a lot. It is.
I think I sent it to you like 3 days ago, like on Tuesday. Yeah. And even since then, I'm like, oh, okay, I just got to get it done. I got to get it
done. Yeah. There's a value to just like getting in the zone and like grinding it out because you have it like all in your head. So it's just like.
I got no zones. I only got like scraps of time. So just wherever I got time.
Yeah.
I just start hammering because I put it in docs. So no matter where I am, I can like just grab
you can pull out the phone,
your computer, whatever. So I just if it's a little inconsistent, it's probably because I didn't quite get through all of it.
Well, sometimes you can run into that where like 2 parts because they're written at 2 different times, they'll kind of like end up feeling different.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting. I know this isn't a secret because you've talked about like kind of what the inspirations are, but I was definitely as I was looking through it, I was definitely getting the feeling of like Final Fantasy and Suikoden and some of those things where it's very, basically like JRPG, like tactical games with top-down views and very little pixel guys. It was kind of
Yeah.
very much the vibe I was getting. I was actually thinking in my head, because like when you read a game, sometimes you'll like imagine like what your unit should look like or like what minis you want to use or something. I was kind of thinking like, I wonder if somebody makes little like paper like standees with like pixel art characters on them. That would be pretty
It
cool.
would be adorable.
And it's played on a grid, right? Like you are gridding it up.
Yeah. You want to be isometric. You want to have levels. You can
So
play
height
flat.
is
Flat is fine.
Yeah, but I was noticing that
boring.
height was actually like a thing in combat and stuff. Like it actually affects things.
Yeah, the way you move, height will affect whether you can move up or down, or falling damage, and you have a jump value that tells you how much you can go up and down in your movement.
Yeah.
So you can get stuck.
That's reminding me of the what are they called? The Mercenaries games. They're like another JRPG. There's like a whole bunch of them, but yeah,
nice.
They had a jump factor. Anyway, yeah. So what's the pretend I'm at a convention and you have like 20 seconds to tell me why I should come play this game at your desk or at your
first of all, put on some deodorant.
We're free.
Yeah. Okay, why would you want to play this game? Has been a question I've been wondering myself. The reason I wanted to make this game is because I've always liked Final Fantasy Tactics and those kind of little games, but I like those because I wanted to play that kind of style of game as D&D. So I did like some deep diving, and I figured out what it was that I first started with, which was D&D Black Box. I think it's 92, and it came like this with this adventure and a map, and it was a story, and you could just play it by yourself if you wanted to. You didn't have to role play with anybody. So I snuck it in, like my mom wasn't looking. I snuck the box into my house. I bought it, and I would like sneak play the game. I'd like move through the little grids, and I'd play through the story. And that's kind of the experience I've been wanting to capture since 92.
Yeah.
Or like one style of game. So yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics Ogre kind of captures that because you're on the grid and you're moving around. But it adds the elements of like moving up and down. You can only move orthogonally. I can remember. Yeah, that's
sideways.
Right. Yeah, no diagonals. Diagonals are out.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
So if you want to play on a tiny space that has a large impact because it is moving, then that's where the game really shines. And story. It's all about story.
Yeah, so I was noticing, I was cheating ahead a little bit looking at some of the quests and stuff. So there is like specific kind of quests and missions that you can do. There's not that many yet because it's still like, being sorted out. But yeah, it's like a specific, so one of the maps is like supposed to be like a manor house, and there's a minimum number of rooms, and specific kinds of enemies you encounter in that quest. So it kind of has like, I was kind of thinking, looking at the quest, that it also feels a little bit like some of those like Warhammer Quest and some of those games.
Yeah, that's right. The way I envision it playing out is like a episode, like, like say you pop on the anime, it's like a fantasy one. Some isekai guy goes to a fantasy world and he has to be like an adventurer. And he's got like companions and they're going around. And like it's kind of episodic, each one's different. I want that feeling in the game.
Oh, yeah. So could you play on like grid, like floor tiles, like Warhammer Quest tiles or something?
Yeah, I think as long as it's gridded, it's got to be fine. Yeah. Hexagons will break it. You can't play on hexagons, sorry.
Right.
So it's not going to work. I love hexagons. I think they're better, honestly, than a grid, but for this style of game, it's not going to work.
Yeah. You got to have the vibe. But also, I think there is kind of a purity in having, because you can be in 4 positions, like next to a guy, right? So that's exactly. It limits it down a little bit. And it makes it easy, like there's front, side, and, if you ever want have something that relies on that.
And everything affects the sides as well. So if you're standing, there's an enemy, like say here, and you're over here, you can't attack them. But if you have allies on either side, then you can affect those allies.
Hey. So I was noticing that you make a guild, which is kind of your like selection of characters, right? So how do I get my guys?
Miniatures wise, you decide what you want to use. I have recommended 28 millimeter on 25 millimeter bases for 1-inch grids because I think that's the most standard. But you could definitely do 15 or whatever. Because that way, and for actually building the units, I don't know if the version you looked at has it because I've been hammering out things since Tuesday, and it might not have been fleshed out at that point in time, but it is in the release. Okay, it tells you you're going to build 1 silver rank unit. 1 bronze rank unit, 2
Mm,
copper, and 4 unranked. And then it'll give you a guideline. So you get reputation points to spend.
mm,
And you're going to look at the schools, which will be different ability lists. So melee or shooting. And you're
mm.
going to choose 2 of those. And you're going to have 1 racial trait. So if your dude's an elf, then you're an elf. You get the elf school. If your dude's a human, like the stereotype of humans is they're versatile, right? Like
Mm,
humans are adaptable, they can do anything. So they don't have a
yeah.
school. They just choose, like they don't have their own racial trait. They choose a 3rd school.
Mm. And schools are kind of like jobs in like Final Fantasy or something.
Yeah,
They
kind of.
just,
It's like a choose your own job. I don't want to say that a fighter is always these things.
yeah,
I want you to decide what a fighter is. So if you decide that a fighter is a guy who's really good at melee and strength,
mm.
then that's what the fighter is to you. But if you think knowledge
Right.
or
So he could
speed
be
work
a
better,
barbarian or a fencer or something. He's
yeah,
just a guy who fights.
the ability schools are different enough. I feel that you can kind of craft just about any class you want.
Mm-hmm. I'm also noticing that you need sheep for one of the scenarios.
Sheep, yes, absolutely, it's essential. Where are we going to find sheep miniatures? I don't know.
That is always a good question. I always look at when we go to certain bookstores where they have like a kids section, they'll have like they're like figurines of farm animals, and they're really nice. They look great, but they're also like super expensive. You probably get some like plastic sheep farm animal bags on
Yeah,
Amazon that are full of like lead paint or something.
yeah. As long as they fit on that 1-inch space, I think you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You might have to put your sheep like rearing up, like sheep rampant, like a
Yeah, exactly. Sheep.
that way it fits.
Yeah.
And I see there are some pretty beefy character and campaign tables. I feel like I've seen a game before that had character events and campaign events, but maybe
Yeah,
that's just
I don't know. I think some game that people used to play or something like that. Used to be
yeah,
popular.
like old
at
hat.
one
You got to
point,
move on. Gotta keep with that. Now, so here's a question because I noticed you use D66s instead
Yeah.
of D100s. So was that just an affectation, or was there a particular reason like that you didn't need that many results on there, or what was the? Do you remember?
That's basically. I'm like, what do people actually need to play? They need the map. They need some dice. They need the miniatures.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Like terrain is good. It's better. I'm like, but how many dice do they need? Do they really need more than D6s? And I think in this game
so
they don't.
Kind of keep it to.
Yeah, so D66 I feel adds enough results that it still makes up for a pretty hefty table.
Yeah, you get a good chunk, and I noticed that a lot of the entries on the table have 2 numbers on them, so you still have room if you want to.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can break them out more, so there's more room to work with. I was laughing a little bit too because all the stats for the characters are like 3-letter abbreviations, which feels very like PS1 like video game. So,
and I do mention in the rules that Endless Fantasy Tactics was a major inspiration for the game. And the stats are basically the same, but that's because those are just the same as JRPGs. So I don't.
Yeah, they all have, and they're kind of the basic.
Just,
you have your attack, your defense, magic.
Yeah.
So it gives you everything you need. And you have mana points, which I feel is very JRPG.
Oh yeah.
Was that just automatically it was going to be mana points, or did you have any choices about like how you were going to do magic?
Yeah, I just decided I wanted to. I love spending points to do things.
Yeah. So when you were testing the game, because I saw on I think Blue Sky that you were testing it, how did you track like health and mana? Like, did you use dice or did you write it down or?
Yeah, I got everyone on that game to write down, like, to make their own character sheet. I said, everyone, you sit down. This is your character and your stats. Write it out and name your character. And you can create a little story if you want. Because I'm not just aiming for people who want to play like Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm also aiming for people who want to role play. But, like this is something a little bit quicker. But they still, like, role players always want to create a story. So,
yeah.
For them. Yeah. And then I'd say write it down. So if you spent... if you have 4 MP and you spent a point, then say now you have 3 MP. If you used a potion, now you're back up to 4. Just write it down. Because I think role players like writing things down.
They often do. I suppose you could just have like a pair of like, 1 red and 1 blue die or something. Man,
Definitely.
Blue. Oh, that's from Diablo.
Yeah. I didn't dictate how people should track it. I feel like if it comes up enough that they just can't figure out how they should track it properly, then I could give a guideline, but... like go with whichever one you're comfortable with. I think role players will write things down. War gamers will track with the dice.
Yeah, that's probably. I was just thinking because you could get those like little gemstones that Magic the Gathering players use for
Oh
life
yeah, yeah.
points. So you get
That's
like
board
red and
gamers
blue.
there.
Yeah. Board gamers like to have like tokens or stuff. So you gotta. But that's the thing. You can kind of, like you say, you can adopt it. So like
Yeah. I am thinking about
now,
doing tokens, but like for the alpha, I'm gonna let people
yeah.
sort
I mean,
themselves out and see what seems best.
yeah. And I noticed. So you mentioned there are different ranks of characters, and you will is like progression. Like your characters get better over time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and there's two factors. One is playing the game will increase the stats, but you don't really decide necessarily how the stats are going to increase. Sometimes
mhm.
you get the choice, sometimes you don't. It just,
Oh,
like
okay.
there's an event where it increases your lowest stat. So there you go. You just get like a better at one thing that you weren't as good at. And
Mm,
as you increase stats, then you're eligible to increase your rank. And then once you are eligible to increase your rank, you can spend your reputation to grab a
mhm.
new ability or special command, as we call it.
Right. I also just want to shout out that I was looking at the injury table that you roll on when a hero
Oh yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
defeated, and it cracks me up that you can actually have your hero like stick around as an undead for a couple of extra missions. That's really cool.
Yeah, I thought it
Or
was
you can
fun.
become a guardian spirit. That's really cool. Like those results won't happen very often, but that's one of those things that when it happens, it'll like people will remember
Yeah.
that kind of stuff because that's just really fun.
Yeah, I kind of like tried to channel the essence. Like, what do we really like about 5 parsecs? It's really those
Mhm.
random results, like things that make memorable
Yeah.
moments.
Mhm.
So, without going too overboard, hopefully, I'm trying to create memorable results.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah, and
terrible tragedies where you lose your character and you also remember that too. Like, goddamn
right.
table killed my dude.
Uh-huh.
I spent so much investment on this guy and now he's just gone.
Mhm. No, exactly.
One, yeah, one thing I did do different though. Like I was lying in bed and it occurred to me why do we do the campaign events and the character events at the end?
Mhm.
Like, I
It
think
could
it
be
kind of makes
anywhere,
sense to do
right?
it in the beginning. So I went with that
Yeah.
instead.
That way it lets you kind of set up like the vibe and the story and stuff. You can
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
so you can use that to add some flavor to what you're then doing in battle.
yeah.
So
Did you ever
now,
have that consideration? Did you decide to
um,
like, or did you always know like just at the end that's the best place?
that's one of those decisions that literally has no reason for it. Like
Yeah,
they are there because when I was writing the original parsecs, that's just where I put it. There was never. I'm guessing subconsciously it was probably just because in like Necromunda, there wasn't event tables, but like the campaign stuff, all the sort of resolution stuff happened at the end. So maybe that was
yeah,
just why. But yeah,
that
it
makes
was one of
sense.
those decisions where like it could have been anywhere. And yeah, that's just where it is. And then once it is there, then you just like do the same thing every time because
Yeah,
otherwise, if I move it, people will like complain about it. One thing I wanted to ask about is you end up using dice pools, right, for combat.
yeah.
So one, what was the like decision to use dice pools, and two, when you were then sitting and playing, how did you kind of like what did that give you that like using like one die plus a modifier or one die under a target number or something you wouldn't have done?
I think
Oh,
it's
or was it
because
just because counting
well,
dice is fun?
yeah, yeah. It was like, well, I took the two options because I smashed endless fantasy tactics into squad hammer,
Mm-hmm.
and I just looked at the two ways of doing damage. Endless
Yeah.
does it with the dice pool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure they do. I don't know. It's been so long since I read it now, and you know, squad hammer has kind of a set damage you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I could just do one or the other, but I kind of like dice pools because I feel like it adds a little more excitement when you roll
Mm-hmm.
and you got a hot dice, and then
Yeah.
the other person rolls their defense, and then is that also hot dice? And then you're done
Yeah.
comparing the two.
It is nice to be able to just compare because you can take, like 3 successes versus 1 success. That's very easy. Sometimes it can be a little if you're rolled like d20s against each other, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I feel
I tried to
also dice.
avoid. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say dice pools also give you kind of an expect. Like you can usually predict how many successes you're gonna get. So you get kind of like an expected level that a character will. Like if you have this many dice to attack, you will usually roll about like half that or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or a third. Right? It's fives and sixes, right?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6s. Yeah, for
Oh, okay.
successes.
Oh, I was looking at because for defending it's fives and
Yeah,
sixes,
yeah.
which is
I
a
skewed it to
nice.
attacking over defending.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's actually a nice because a lot of the games that have I ran into that with Starport Scum, where attack and defense uses the same number of successes, or the same target numbers, and it can sometimes mean that you have to just be lucky to get through armor. It makes heavily armored characters work a little wonky. So skewing it a little bit. I think like the two fat lardies do that for like armor penetration, where like the armor dice for a tank are on 5s, but the penetration dice for the gun is on 4s. It does means that there's a little more chance of like punching through or doing something. Nobody likes if you're wailing it away as some nerd and you keep like doing no damage.
Yeah, but though it might happen too. Maybe you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, 1 in 3 is still like enough chance. Like you can get pretty lucky.
And adding the 1 as a critical failure, which takes away success, kind of skewed it away from the endless system. So even though you can be pretty confident of the odds, you also know there's a good chance you're going to roll 1s. So you always have a little bit of doubt. You know, like, is this? I'm pretty sure it's going to work. I got a lot of attack. They don't got a lot of defense, but you know, if I'm rolling 1s, like I always do, most people will probably say to themselves,
yeah. And then it ends up being pretty simple because the amount of successes I get more than you is just how many hit points you lose, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, which is
most hit points aren't too high. So typically, you know, for I'd say the average campaign a person might play, you won't last more than like a few combat rounds.
Yeah.
Without you know, any kind of like intervention, healing or whatnot.
Right.
Running away.
Have somebody back you up. But that also keeps things like
yeah. Try to add drama without too much hassle. It was my
goal. Yeah, and it could be how long characters should like survive for is like super difficult because everyone has like very specific opinions on it. But like somewhere between, if you only have a couple of guys, you usually want them to be able to survive like a couple of rounds, but not, you know, you don't want them to be grinding on for 8 rounds, right? So,
exactly.
And you know, if they go down the first hit, I mean they can, but that works better if you have more characters. If you only have 4, then that can get pretty rough.
Yeah.
At least if it's the expectation. Obviously, you can get really lucky if I max out my attack dice here and get a bunch of 6s and get criticals, and you roll all 1, then you're probably toast anyway. But typically, it'll take another go at least.
That's one thing we haven't really tested yet is long-term campaigns. So you mentioned in the rule book that there's quests. Those are like a single one. So you're just doing, you know, it's like a 1 turn, like in 5 parsecs. You're doing 1 encounter, then you're moving on to the next turn. But for the world books, it's going to be multiple scenarios. So you start the adventure, you roll on the campaign and the character tables, then you go into scenario 1, and then you have a recovery step. Then you go into scenario 2, and you keep going until you're at the end. So you might go through 3 scenarios, or there's possible of like 20, depending on the game. And there's going to be levels of steps in between. But, and I have not tested yet how deadly that will be. Chance of surviving like an entire world book is just, unfortunately, I haven't had the time to see how well it's
that's always campaign games if they break somewhere, it's always the campaign aspect, because it's so hard to gauge like if you advance too quickly, too slowly, if it's too deadly, if the loot is too generous. It's just one of those things you have to like feel out and just be ready to like go back and adjust. It's where the levers that I always ramble about come in, because like here you have a lot of, because you have like, you can adjust the character's hit points, you can adjust the enemy's hit points, you can make the monsters a little tougher or a little weaker, you can change, you can upgrade like a couple of abilities so they're a little better. Like there's a lot of little things you can pull on to dial in the difficulty and sort of get it to where it needs to be. But sometimes it's also hard because you could be like, have a really good run, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You got luck in every mission, you get all the rewards, you roll the upgrades that are like best for your character. Like it can all just like, and you just motor through like everything. You can't do anything about that. That's just,
yeah, it's just how it goes. Oh, 5 parsecs is too easy.
Yeah, well, that's the funny
thing. You just got lucky, bro. You just got lucky.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Like people will roll like a squad of Solus with a Hydroblaster. Don't say that. It's one of the funny things with like the hobby homies. Was it them that like really struggled with 5 leagues at first, and then they kind of?
I think so. Yeah.
Figured, because I remember they were like they were fighting like the rat people with the gnawlings, and ran into like a whole bunch of assholes with slings, and they were just getting mown down. And then after a while, they kind of figured it out and came around like, oh, okay, we get it. Like,
yeah.
But it was definitely like a speed bump in the experience for sure. So, but that's the thing, like, because you also got to get people who want it to be more difficult, and you got to get people who want it to be. So, like one other thing, I forget if I saw it in here, if you were going to have like difficulty options or not. that's always a thing to add. Like,
Yeah, the ranking system should be the difficulty option. So exponentially, the difficulty should rise quite a bit. So if you're
mm,
playing, say, like a bronze ranked world book,
mm.
then it should be a fairly like intro kind of scenario. Like it's going to be a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit tough. You probably will
Yeah.
lose like a dude or two, but it's not going to be too bad. But if you're playing, say, like a platinum ranked, you're
Mm.
bringing in your best dudes, but you're also facing like a lot more odds.
Yeah,
And
that's what the
theoretically, the odds, yeah, it should be stacking up against you. Where,
right. That's what the
yeah,
Ghost Knights come out and stuff. The Death
yeah,
Knights.
yeah. Or for the world books, like I'm aiming to make sure that you can actually win, sort of thing. If
Yeah,
it's going to be a platinum ranked, like if you win it, it's really legendary.
yeah, yeah. It's like those guys like beating that hack on the computer or something. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
probably
exactly.
probably not going to happen without cheating, but maybe you do.
Mhm.
Maybe so. Which is nice. So there's like 6 difficulties, right? And then, well, technically 7 because there's also unranked, which
Yeah, yeah,
unranked is a rank, so that's maybe like false
yeah.
advertising. I guess.
Though I wouldn't say like unranked. Okay, I try to do. Okay, let's say like the quests. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
the attic terror. I think that's what it's called, where you have to fight like a giant spider and 2 rats. It's called
Mm-hmm.
a copper ranked adventure. So I wouldn't do unranked because the goal is to take like one guy who's a little bit better than the situation,
Oh, right.
one guy who's equal to the situation, and then the rest of your guys got to be under. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you get 1 bronze rank, 1 copper rank, 4 unranked. So basically you're taking like a rookie crew for that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you got to be. So you got like the one dude who knows what's going on, knows which way the sword is supposed to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like taking the kids out for like a day trip in the kindergarten.
Yeah, and I kept those there because if you do end up with a party wipe in like
Mm-hmm.
a world book, you're not done. You could keep going. Whoever you
Mm-hmm.
got left in your guild, you can just recruit new recruits and build them back up again. You don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
say it's over.
Right, right, right. So you have a little flexibility, but obviously,
Yeah,
once you get some like more experienced characters, there's a little more like weight to that,
yeah, that's right. And when you lose them, you definitely, I think, you would feel it more. So you invested so
right?
much time in them.
Yeah, yeah. So is the idea that there is it possible for me to like lose in a book other than like lose all my characters dying? Like, is there some of them going to have like failure conditions where you can lose the
Yeah,
quest, like the evil
you don't
wizard
lose
wins?
necessarily. Like I don't know. I'm gonna be releasing the first world book pretty quick. It's gonna be called Slay the Goblins. It's going to be 4 scenarios you're going to play through from start to finish.
Mhm.
And there's going to be like a little twist ending that maybe you wouldn't see coming if you normally watch Goblin Slayer. You might think, like I see how the story's progressing, but there's like a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit of
yeah,
curve at the end. And
yeah.
then depending on how you complete the final scenario, tells you whether you reached victory or defeat. So you
Mhm.
can still survive, but you did not win, and bad things are happening.
Right, right,
So
right, right,
that's
right.
where the doom clock starts advancing, which I haven't quite put into play yet. But the doom clock, the theory is it's going to be, like 12.
Right,
And
right.
when you hit defeats like that, or even if you got a victory, but a certain thing happened, like maybe a bad guy escaped that shouldn't have, you still won the mission, but now the doom clock advances.
Mhm.
And as it gets closer to, say, like 3, then you're going to unlock a new mission.
Mhm.
And that's
Or
going
it
to
could
be
be
like
things
the first
like
part of your like main story. If you were
yeah,
like
yeah,
watching an
yeah.
anime, like the first boss has appeared. And then you're working your
Right.
way towards the final boss.
Yeah, I was just thinking you could also have things happen like an extra enemy shows up in a mission or something. You got to deal with like the lieutenant of the evil wizard or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot you could do with that.
Yeah, like bad things can start happening, but I haven't figured out what yet. It's
Right.
still on the table. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
came
mean,
from like a discussion we had on like an older podcast about talking about
mhm.
like, the doomsday clock kind of
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's an interesting idea because it's sort of, like you can have campaigns that are like winnable and losable. You can have campaigns that go on literally forever.
mhm.
And you can kind of try to like strike a balance between the two where, I know you're going to have quite a few like player races too. I don't know if they're all like done yet, or if this is just like a list of like what's going to be there.
I think that's
But
I can't think of too many more, so I think I try to
yeah,
keep it
yeah,
like a little bit general. Like beast folk could be anything. It could be a lizard man or a cat girl or whatever. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be like you build your own based
Mhm.
on the abilities. So like in
Yeah,
my example, I have like a winged snake person.
right, right, right.
If you want to
So
do a winged snake person, you could just choose certain abilities and stats, and that represents a winged snake person.
yeah, and that also leaves it a little open because at some point you got to go find like miniatures to like go with your character, so it makes it a little more. You have some
Yeah,
flexibility with it. You can always find elves and dwarves that like
yeah,
halflings and
exactly.
stuff. That you can always, but. Then if you got to find like a dragon person, well, they're pretty easy. But like, yeah,
These
there's
days.
some stuff that so it's nice
Back
to
in
have
the
some.
old days, it was hard to find dragon people, but now with D&D in there,
Yeah,
whatever they
once
call
D and
them,
D made them like a stand, I don't even remember what they're called there. But yeah,
Dragonborn.
now
There we go.
that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's like pretty readily available. So which made it a lot nicer. And for something like this, because like when you're buying wargaming figures, you often get like either a bag or a box or something. And you don't necessarily want like 20 halflings for this. So
Yeah.
you probably are getting like Reaper or D&D minis or things like that. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was aiming for, like the Reaper Whiz Kids crowd of things
like,
that you can easily just like slap onto a base and put on the table.
Yeah, or even if you have something sitting around already,
you know. And standees like, would work absolutely fine. It's not my preference, but there's nothing wrong with standees.
Yeah. I don't even know there are any that fit. I was just getting this idea that like having pixel art characters would be really cute.
It would be super cute.
And you could have somebody like turn out like a bunch of those like pretty easily. So
yeah, I also thought about like chibis. Like you know, there's lots of like chibi dungeon exploring characters.
Yeah,
and I looked at them for a while, but I'm like, I just don't like chibis in the end. I don't hate them, I don't love them. So
I think the idea is funnier than sitting and playing the game with them is to me. Like they're like a cute thing. Like I would probably get one to put on my desk, but I don't know if I would like want to play a game with them.
Yeah,
I did see they had like little chibi Warhammer guys. Those are cute. So, and arguably they're official Warhammer miniatures, so they should be tournament legal.
Oh yeah.
So bring your
like
chibi
Marines.
Yeah. People won't get mad at all about that. We know Warhammer players are like famously like relaxed about deviating from the canon.
And I tried to aim for like non-IP specific names. I was surprised actually to learn like certain things I never thought were IP are actually IP in the end.
It's especially if anything that comes up like Dungeons and Dragons, because some things are on the open gaming license, you can just use those words, but other things are not. So yeah, you always have to double check it. Also, you have to check like, oh, is this like accidentally the same name as like a spell in another game or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's okay, but you maybe don't want to. But then like finding names for stuff is also fun. I was looking at like the names for a giant rat is easy enough, and then you have like a ghost knight. That's cool. That makes me even without seeing the stats, it makes me like think about like, oh, okay, what is a ghost like? What is I can kind of imagine like what they would look like in a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and knight, like a skeleton knight, but then he has like a blue aura around like his bones and stuff. So he looks
exactly
spooky. And that's very like anime or JRPG as well, right? Because you always had like, especially for like standard enemies that weren't like bosses, they would be called something, and they have like the little sprite, and that's all you know about them. Nobody's gonna tell you like what the purple 3-headed worm is. It's just a purple 3-headed worm.
Yeah.
So you gotta like, you can come up with something for yourself. But yeah.
And the nice thing about like anime JRPG kind of stuff is that you can just be silly if you want and serious. You can mix them both together.
Yeah, you can have a range, and it's just sort of the part of the vibe, right?
Yeah, you can do both.
Yeah,
kind of like old Warhammer. You can do both.
Yeah, you can kind of do a little bit of everything. So, well, that's sort of the capsule. It's not really a review when it's your own thing, like the capsule overview of Endless Hammer as it's coming together. There's quite a lot here, and you can already have a go at it. So if you are in the know, which means being on one of like 5 different Discords, then, and I'm confident if you drop a comment, if people are watching this, I think we're like without viewers right now.
It's actually because I'm hosting this on my like personal channel. I went to put links in, and they're like, "No, you can't do links. We don't know who you are." I'm like, what do you mean you don't know who I am? I've had my YouTube channel forever. I've been on here forever. Like what? Apparently, I have to prove myself on this one as well before I can put links in.
Yeah, fuck you, YouTube. But for people who are watching this after the fact, if you put a comment in the comments, then I'm sure you can get hooked up as well with a comment.
We'll do a sneaky link somewhere in here.
Yeah, we'll get some promotion going. Yeah. So what I had sort of thought to talk about before my battery runs out, which at 30%, we've spent 20% so far. Well, 20% in 36 minutes. That's not too bad. So we're probably okay. Was mistakes that we have made when like building an army or starting a project or getting into a game, like things that you would have not done in hindsight. And I have one, and this is one of the ones that I think is probably pretty common, but it happens to me a lot until I like very consciously like stopped doing it, which is buying too little of too many things. So you end up with like one little bag of like 3mm like Cold War tanks, and then a trio of 50mm BMPs, and 20 orcs, and one box of 172 scale plastic Germans, and some 15mm Romans, and
Yeah.
none of it adds up to any game at all except for Squad Hammer.
Squad Hammer.
Yeah, like so your 3mm like Cold War Soviet infantry has to fit in the 50mm BMPs. It's just a bet. So you end up spending a lot of time and effort collecting and building and maybe even painting all that stuff, and then you realize you still can't play a game with it. Like this is no, you've basically like scattered yourself and ended up like, and that obviously doesn't apply if you're just looking to paint. If you just want to paint a BMP, just buy one and paint that one. You'll be happy. You'll paint a little carrier.
You know what's funny though?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Wesda game, 2 games. They have like their World War II and their like Cold War era one. And when you buy the box set, it's 3 different scales.
That's
You're supposed to play with it just like that.
Wow. I've seen people say that you should have like, if you have like 15mm infantry, then you should use like 10mm tanks or something, but it looks like shit. So I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
I remember one time in a 140k battle, I couldn't find like my rattling snipers, and I used some like 172 scale like plastic Germans to stand in for them. And like height wise, it was probably okay, but obviously like they look, they were tiny little like spindly men.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's so easy to like end up with a bunch of shit, but you actually can't use, or you run into where you have built like one platoon of something, like you get into Cold War. So you do like West Germans, you build a platoon of West Germans from like QRF, and then you realize that all of your terrain is like fantasy Warhammer stuff. So you still can't play a game because now you gotta like go get some stuff, some terrain going. So like lack of planning and lack of like impulse control, it makes it can be really demoralizing because you spend a bunch of money and you spend a bunch of time and you painted up stuff, and then you get that stretch of like, which at least for me, because I'm always more interested in the gaming than the painting part, having a long stretch where I'm working a bunch of stuff and it still doesn't add up to anything that'll go on the table, just gets really demoralizing. Then you end up like putting it away, and now you will forever just have 3 BMPs.
It's like the starter set trap. You bought a starter set. And what
Especially
can you do with that starter set? Not much.
Yeah, especially if it's a starter set that actually doesn't add up to a game at all. Like
Yeah.
if you can't play anything with it, then yeah, it can just be really, like that was a big I think part of the reason why the original Warhammer kind of reached its endpoint, because you could buy like 20 high elf spearmen, you can't play a game. Then you buy like 20 archers and you still can't play a game. And then you buy like 20 cavalry, and now it's almost a game, but you still have to spend another £100 on some characters. And if you want it to not suck, you gotta have like champions and banners. So
you gotta buy the codex.
Right. And then it's terrible. So yeah, that's a mistake I've made like a lot of time. Just bought inefficiently or bought spontaneously, or like I remember buying, some guy on like TMP had somehow, I don't know if he actually had the license or if he just said he did, but he had gotten the license to do like one set of Traveler minis. They were Vagar, and he just did like 5 of them. It was like one little pack with 5 Vagar in true 25mm, which nobody uses for anything. So I bought a set, and it is, I am not exaggerating, these are literally the only true 25s I've ever owned. They fit with nothing. They were tiny next to like even a 3rd edition Imperial Guardsman, because that was the era.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just completely useless. They're really nice. They are long gone, and you can't buy them anymore. Just a one-off thing, but like, why? What am I gonna do with them? Like, I was at this dream I was gonna get like a true 25 like Ground Zero Games army for like Stargrunt, but then, like that would be cool, but then I would only have 5 Vagar. That doesn't do anything. I could make them officers, I guess. They're like lording it over the humans. But yeah, so just like running into stuff where you buy stuff that you know, or you end up like not liking it as much as you thought. Like you get halfway through painting dwarves and you just realize like, I don't want to paint any fucking dwarves. I'm sick of beards.
Yeah. Well, just imagine you are collecting that high elf army and you bought your spearmen, And then you built them, and then you painted them. And you're like, okay, I can't play a game yet. So you bought the archers, and you built them, and you painted them, and you still can't play a game. And then you finally got the cavalry, and then you got the heroes, and then you finally got your army assembled, and you played it, and then you're like, I don't even like this game.
Yeah, like Warhammer sucks, man. We're gonna
Yeah,
do these.
like,
Or you realize that like you borrow a friend's army who is playing Skaven, and you realize that's really fun, and you want to play Skaven. So now you're
army.
Yeah, like yeah. So that's I guess that can happen less if you are like really bought into the idea of an army. Like if you're just really into elves, maybe you're like it's a better deal.
Yeah.
But it's also hard, especially for like an army game. If you can't really like most people aren't gonna lend you their Warhammer army because they spend like months working on it.
Yeah.
I mean you can cut up cardboard squares. We used to do that.
Yeah.
So I actually we didn't do because we haven't done a episode for the new year, so we never got to do like New Year's resolutions.
No. This is
one of
not the year for resolutions.
I mean, everything is terrible, but like, I'm also like trying to. This sort of ends up because me and my wife have we've talked about forever that we want to like eat less red meat and maybe try being all vegetarian for any number of reasons. To anyone watching this, if you're like one of those people who get really butthurt because somebody doesn't eat hamburgers, like my email address is gofuckyourself@gmail.com. You should send all of your feedback there. But we had talked about it for so long. And it was not even intended. It was going to be a New Year's resolution. It's just that when we made the decision that, yeah, let's do this. Let's like try that for like half a year or something. It happened to be like the end of December.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't meant to be a New Year's resolution. It just turned out that way. Now that's a little easier because I actually don't really like beef very much. Like we didn't eat it very much when I was a kid. We mostly ate pork, and the kid like doesn't like beef at all.
Oh wow.
Other than like hamburgers. Yeah, he hates steak. So it's not like a huge sacrifice or anything. It's mostly just going without pork, and like we're still gonna probably eat fish and some other things. But like it just worked out that it was like the decision was made at the time. It was like time to do like resolutions. So we ended up with a resolution, even though I wasn't gonna make one. But my one like gaming resolution I want to do this year is I want to play games that are like free. Not necessarily $0, but like just stuff somebody made and put online. Because I used to do that all the time, partially because I didn't have money when I was younger. And once you have an internet connection, but you don't have a credit card, it doesn't matter that there's cool games out there. You can't have them anyway. And the local store couldn't order anything that I came. I would like read on like TMP back when it was good, and I would write down like the titles of games, and then I would go to my store, and they couldn't order any of them because there was all like English stuff. Like so so I would just find games that people put online for free, and I would play them, and like some of them were garbage, but it's like when you're a kid and you have like 4 Nintendo games and you rent a new game for the weekend. Like that game might be garbage, but you're still gonna play it because it's the one new game. So I want to do some of that, and I want to just try some random things that are out there, and I want to use it as a way to like try something new. And I'm gonna like double up on the like teenage poverty gaming. By actually cutting out some like cardboard armies for whatever I do, because I want to do something that's Black Powder.
Nice.
Or maybe Renaissance or something I haven't done before, because that seems like a New Year's thing. So yeah, I'll cut out some cardboard art and maybe I don't know. It's gonna be a whole thing. I like doing like challenges with stuff, just to see like what can you do. But yes, I want to play some like free games, some stuff that people just made and put online, and like nobody ever looks at. Probably not even gonna tell anybody about it because I kind of want to just have it to be
yeah, exactly
my thing. People.
Well, actually, you should tell everyone about it at the end.
Yeah,
on
like
the podcast, of course. On the podcast, of course.
Well, I think if I play a game that I end up liking and then I'm like ready to do a different one, I think I'll talk about it at that point. Yeah. Then it's like, but yeah, I want to like, I have this idea. This is like a weird psychology thing. It's probably bullshit, but I think it's probably healthy if you have both hobbies that are social in nature, either a hobby that you do with people or just a hobby that you like share with people. But also have something that is like just for you and you do on your own. So you have something that like it doesn't involve anybody, nobody's commenting on it. It's just something you do and you can kind of do it on your own time. And then you have some things that can like involve other people. You have a group you talk to about it. I think it's probably healthy to have both of those because you kind of get a little like separation. There's not that like feeling that, oh, this has to be like block worthy or something.
Yeah. No, I think that kind of commitment to having to be a parasocial all the time is terrible. And you really should have
Yeah.
things that you just do just to grow yourself. And they don't
Mhm.
matter. And if you succeed, you succeed. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to tell
Yeah.
anybody.
No,
Just
exactly.
do
And
little
maybe
things.
maybe the point wasn't to succeed. Maybe it was just to like do it. Like you
Mhm.
sat down for an evening and played a game, and it was kind of broken, or you didn't understand it, but like you played a game. Like, so yeah, I want to do. That's kind of my like vibe for the next year. It's gonna be. I'm kind of on like a minimalist like kick anyway. I know that's like a YouTube like hashtag kind of like
Mhm.
look at my minimalist kitchen. It's like a
Oh, yes,
fucking
yes.
nerd in a turtleneck pouring coffee in the video or something. They all do the same shot. Because the way to be anti-consumerist is to like copy what you see people do in glossy YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you can tell you're real.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah. It's from the
so
streets.
yeah. So yeah, that's like I want to do like more. Maybe it's just like midlife crisis kind of shit where you like think about like stuff you did back in the day and how fun it was. And maybe you can't go back because you can never be like 14 and seeing BattleTech for the first time. Uh,
Mhm.
but I think you can pull some of those things forward with you and examine like what was actually like. Sometimes it's so easy to get overloaded with like finding the perfect miniatures and the perfect rules and like. But we didn't do that. We just like sat down and like fucking played a game. Sometimes it was garbage. But we still had fun. So that's a vibe. Garbage fun.
Garbage fun.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I can't do it with my tabletop campaign that I'm running because we already started that and I can't like swap that around. But Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is so old that it technically counts as a free game by now. I think.
Oh, that's true.
Like,
That's true.
like I think if you stand out on the streets and yell, somebody's gonna just throw a player's handbook at you.
Hey, did you ever play Battle Systems?
The D&D like minis games.
Yeah.
I played because there were two of them. Maybe there were more.
Yeah, first
than
and second.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a skirmish one. The one I played was a second edition one, but the rules weren't really D&D rules.
Yeah, that's
it was
what I noticed on the second edition. It's like, well,
yeah, it had
the
like
vibe, but
yeah, it had the vibe, and it was kind of like a rank and flank and like fun, like Ralph Parth and minis in the book. That one was
Mhm.
pretty good at the time. We didn't like it that much because it wasn't actually like like how to take like a D&D monster and put it in the game was not really like clear because it
Yeah.
didn't use the same. Which maybe that doesn't matter. But the game was pretty okay. I recently got a very dog-eared copy of the Skirmish game, which is more closely based on D&D, and that one's kind of cute. But it's also bananas because the ground scale is pretty exact. So like a giant can throw a rock like 80 tabletop inches or something. So like you're not
Wherever you
you're
are.
in
Yep.
range, man. But that one looked pretty cool because it's very like you can just take some characters and stuff and stat them up, and you almost can just play them right out of the monster. Um, yeah, I was gonna because I was thinking about doing it big because we're playing AD&D Second Edition, and it's like a revival campaign because everyone has played it before except for one guy.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
new
yeah.
to it, so I was kind of thinking, oh, it would be cool to do like a year of like D&D and play Battle System, but I don't know if I can stand Battle System.
No, yeah.
The second edition one was cool. We just didn't play that much. I've heard the first edition is closer. It's a rank and flank that is pretty D&D-ish, but I have never like seen that one.
Okay.
But yeah,
What is
cool.
your what's your setting for AD&D?
It is literally just the Forgotten Realms.
Okay,
It is
nice.
we basically it was one of those things we had talked about forever that we should do like I'd always said I wanted like one last like big D&D because I was kind of like sick of D&D for a long time.
Yeah.
And then we got to talking about it. It's like, okay, like if we do this, it should be like the most classic, basic, like fighters and elves and wizards and an evil quest and orcs in a cave kind of thing. Like it should be grandma's like D&D.
We're a team of drow rangers from the Underdark.
Yeah.
We're coming up here to wreck things.
Absolutely kick over all the bus signs. So yeah, it's straight like Forgotten Realms. I even like downloaded a Forgotten Realms novel and read that, and it was terrible.
Nice. Yeah.
So because they're all garbage, but
Yeah.
it was fun. It was a fun. I also realized halfway through reading it that I had it was like the first one that ever got released. So it's like from 86 or 87. And I realized I remembered it from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I thought it was way cooler.
Yeah.
It was also like super gory. Like people got like fucking eaten and killed and shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's some gnarly stuff in there. I remember as a
When
kid.
you're in junior high, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, like, and it was very like because there's like the character like there's a girl that he wants to get with, and they're adventuring, and it's very like chaste, like like they're obviously trying to get a little like allure in there, but they're also marketing it to like 14-year-olds. So you can't like, there's no like revealed ankles or anything. But
Which
yeah,
book
so
was it? Do you remember?
I will have to double check the title.
Hey, do you remember what the cover looks like?
Yes, but because the cover was also used on like at least one D&D video game. So it has like a cleric girl who's like riding, and there's a bunch of like skeleton dudes on horses riding and chasing her. Which is very heavily like they obviously like were trying to conjure like the Nazgul chasing Liv Tyler's character in Lord of the Rings. Except that wasn't around yet, so maybe they weren't. I don't know. Oh wait, I'm a fucking idiot because the movie wasn't out. In the book, it's the other elf that nobody remembered.
Oh,
yeah. So never mind.
Yep.
No, I don't either. In the book, it's like a different guy. They took like 3 different elves and mushed them together to make Liv Tyler in them.
As you do,
yeah. Which Liv Tyler's nice. But yeah, there was too many characters that would only be there for like a little bit. So yeah, forget all the ignorant hate speed I said about the art, but it has been used on other games because I think they just recycled like all of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. I can't picture the cover off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'll find it and like post it in a link to it in the comments. If people look up like a list of all the Forgotten Realms books, it's the very first one, and it's part of a trilogy.
Realistically, though, I mean, unless it had Drizzt, it's not really a memorable Forgotten Realms book. So.
No, well, he came around pretty because I was looking up like all of the original books for the first like couple of years. He came around like pretty quickly, but I remember reading a couple of them, and at the time it was kind of like uncool to read D&D novels. You were supposed to read real fantasy, which is stupid. Like it's not like the Warhammer novels were like any better necessarily.
Me and my friends, we always read the Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, I really liked Dragonlance. Was like a huge vibe for me when I was a teenager. I did reread it later as an adult, like a couple years ago. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop while the getting is good because it's not getting better.
Did you notice that the Wanderkin race are pretty cool?
Oh yeah. I was kind of wondering. I was like, oh, that feels a little Dragonlance-y. So yeah, Dragonlance is one of those things that was like a huge influence on like my ideas about fantasy. But yeah.
I don't know what it is about Dragonlance, but yeah, it was powerful stuff at the time.
Yeah, it just felt like it's one of those like because it's basically like standard D&D fantasy, but it's just like different enough. Like they use steel coins because gold is like for the it's a hard world and that's the draconians and stuff. It was just great shit. But yeah, sometimes like stuff you read or watch as a kid or play is like it won't necessarily hold up. Sometimes it's better to leave it in the back. I did reread like David Eddings stuff. That still held up. As long as you don't expect that like he only ever wrote one book and then he just like repeated that one with different characters. So.
Oh yes.
They're very basic. But I had a really good time rereading those. So I was kind of like in the mood of that. It's like you're just like flipping the page and waiting for like Sparhawk to like do something cool or say something like threaten to brutalize some villain.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my that's my vibe for the new year, I guess. Just do some indie gaming, do some weird grungy like lo-fi stuff. Just sort of like just to have
back to the roots.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to like when you couldn't afford. Now it's like this luxury thing. It's like they say minimalism is like a luxury lifestyle because you have to be like well off to not be able to like or to choose not to buy stuff. And when you're an adult, even if you aren't making bank, because writing is not like high income, but you can buy like some bags of 50mm guides or something.
Yeah.
Any reasonable army you can want to do, you can do. It's just a question of not being lazy and painting it. So it's like this selective thing of like, we're gonna like be grungy with this. I'm not throwing out like my. I do know also that I definitely want to do more historical stuff. I'm kind of circling that anyway. Not that I will stop like writing sci-fi because I love writing sci-fi, but I think I've kind of realized that at least for right now, my tastes are just for personal gaming, not work, are like more about historical stuff now. Like I kind of just want something that I can look up in a book and see what happened or see what the people did. So at least for right now, I'm kind of like, I don't want to say I'm over sci-fi because it sounds like super dismissive or anything. I still enjoy sci-fi. I just enjoy sci-fi as a creative thing, not as a like doing thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, which maybe that's a thing. Like, I don't know. I always wonder like does Stephen King like read horror novels, or is he like sick of it? He just reads like cozy like mystery novels or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
does he read it all? Maybe never
yeah,
reads.
yeah. Maybe he's like, man, books are fucking trash, or
Stephen King.
yeah. It's like when you get like metal bands and they ask like people like what their personal like musical tastes are. Like, there's some super hardcore like black metal band, and it always turns out they listen to like jazz fusion and like Polish like polka music or something.
Yeah.
So good. Like you have to influences from outside, or like the thing you do and the thing you enjoy are not necessarily something. Maybe it's just becomes too much like work.
Like, I'm not that into bikes. I like bikes a lot, bicycles especially, but like some people who come in are super keen.
Yeah,
get into like the nitty gritty. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about, buddy. I just fix them.
yeah. So sometimes you just gotta listen to it. We would get that a lot when I worked at the phone company, because some people are like phone nerds.
Oh yeah.
I'm just here to get you to like, so you can go home and push buttons and not call back. But so you got to play along and you got to be nice. Because it's at least easy to deal with a dude who's like happy to be there.
Yeah, I love non-keen customers. The less people are into bikes, the more I like them.
Yeah.
The customers.
The ideal customer just wants something for their daughter.
Yeah, I just want to be able to ride really far. Perfect. I got good bikes for you.
This one has wheels. Let's try that one.
Did I show you these? I feel like it's been forever since I painted because I've been writing so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some GHQ painted.
Oh,
I do love GHQ. I love them so much.
Yeah. Oh, look at those little boys.
But I'm making them into not fantasy, BattleTech.
Yeah.
These are all Italian vehicles and dudes. It's pretty exciting.
They're a good pick because they aren't so immediately recognizable. Like, you can't really take like a Tiger Tank and turn it into a sci-fi vehicle because everyone can tell like what it started as. So I was gonna say like that little handful, since it is GHQ, that's like $100 too.
The whole pack would be $20 when I bought it.
Yeah.
It was like a sample.
Those boys are,
who knows what it's like now?
Yeah, those boys are expensive. But they do look nice. Like, I know people have there's always the joke that like you could take a really nice photo of a GHQ Mini that was painted and people would think it was 15 millimeter. And that's probably true. Like, some of those
it is insane.
Yeah, the detail is like banana. And I don't even think they're like digitally sculpted or anything. Like, that shit is by hand. Like, they're still doing it. Maybe nowadays, some high-tech stuff. But.
Yeah, that could be. It's I don't know. If it wasn't for the thin barrels, they'd just be perfect. I mean, it's scale appropriate to have thinner barrels, but it just bends so much.
That's why even when I was doing 6mm, I didn't buy GHQ Infantry because they're just like so spindly. Like, even like casting them, they were so skinny and spindly that even like casting them was causing problems. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So they were just for infantry.
Like, these guys are just like one chunk of dude. Like, there's 4 guys, but like they're just one strip, and they're all together, and they work out well, and that's about it for GHQ Infantry.
Yeah.
If they're not all clumped together, then they're not going to work.
I like the old Ground Zero games, like Dirt Side Infantry, because they were just like little metal blobs with a rifle. You can't really break them or anything. They were perfect. So
I got tons of like sci-fi infantry, so I'll just use those for the most part. But
for
the gun crew, I thought they work. So
and it's hard to find sci-fi like artillery crews or stuff like that.
Yeah, for some reason they're not.
Yeah, they
hauling around guns on wheels in the future for some reason.
Yeah, actually, I think the only ones I remember were Ground Zero games, but they were like different, like missile.
I kind of want to see like power armor now with like a wheelbarrow with a gun in the front.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was wanting to see like an African style, like technical, like the Toyota truck with the machine gun, but like 2 Space Marines like hanging out of the squeezed into the cabin of the Toyota. One standing on the back, but he's so heavy he like lifts it up.
Yep.
So that would be pretty good. There was one dude who I don't think it was White Dwarf. It was maybe on their website or something. Back in the day, who had done up, it was like a 3rd edition Space Marine army, but they're done up in like camouflage and with like battles, like scarring and like dents in the armor, and it looked really cool. But it's one of those that you can only like nobody ever does, even though they totally should. So what you should do then is do like an Imperial Guard army and do all of them in like bright, like red and blue,
Yep.
like colors.
I did like the old Imperial Guard that had like the zebra outfits and like the
Yeah,
red
you got
pads.
some like crazy ones. Because
Oh yeah, like all like the 80s sunglasses with the big flash.
yes. Yeah, I guess they're nicknamed like the Gray Guard because the official look was just like gray plastic or gray jackets and stuff. But yeah, you could do them, and I remember they had like the White Dwarf articles with the different like rhinos and predator tanks and stuff, and they would have like camo schemes on them and stuff.
Mhm.
Really cool. So yeah, we need more of that stuff. What we also need is more battery because I am out, but we're also like at the hour mark actually.
Yeah. We are good to go. We're here to say we will be back again on the day is at the 26th. There we go.
Yeah.
January 26th is the day of Venus Hammer.
Yes, so we'll talk a little bit about Venus Hammer, and we will probably, because that won't be super long, so we'll probably have a backup topic as well. We'll talk about some. We haven't talked about painting in a while, so maybe we should do something.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some painting done finally.
Yeah. So maybe I'll have some cardboard that I won't tell anyone about.
Woot.
Maybe I'll actually, if I manage to get some stuff cut out and set up, my schedule is so crazy this month, I might actually like show off. Maybe we'd have a $0. I saw what is that channel called? Crap. They do historical wargaming reviews and stuff. What are they called? I don't remember now, but
quite a few.
Yeah, it's one of the big ones. But they were doing a thing. They had gotten a cooperation with a graphic designer, and I think the guy who did like Fistful of Taos or whatever.
Okay.
So basically doing a intro set to get you into World War II miniatures, and it came. They got a guy to basically do little sheets of like tanks and troops and stuff top down that you could cut out and use as so you could mount them on cardboard to make them just basically like counters, and then.
This is very familiar.
Yeah. I'll remember as soon as we log off. And they had gotten the Fistful of Tau guys to do a free version with just the stats to play that battle or those battles. And then it would have some like little scenarios. So it was basically this whole package you could download, and all you had to do was print it out. And you could get into World War II gaming, miniatures gaming without like buying anything, without painting anything. So it's like an intro kind of deal. So that was really cool. And there definitely needs to be more stuff like that. So
yeah, so much work, but yeah, if you get it done.
Yeah, it was just cool to see something that's like not commercial, And I realize that's silly because I do commercial stuff, but like not everything has to be like that. Like I think I don't know. I'm one beer in, and I'm about to get a beer, so we need.
Hey, if it wasn't for free people or free work, then corporations would have nothing to rip off. So,
that is true. Do your part for the machine.
Yeah, that's right.
On you.
They need to take your hard work and make money.
So, all right, folks, that is all we have. Perfect. As always, if you have comments, throw them in the comments because that's where comments go. It'll be down there under my blanket. Just get right in there. It's pretty hot and steamy down there. And we will see you next time.
Yes, absolutely. Take care. Bye.
This episode of Bad Internet Friends was streamed live on YouTube and Twitch. There is a North American friendly live stream every second Wednesday of the month and a European friendly live stream every fourth Monday of the month.